do have a quorum. Need a motion to approve the agenda. Have a motion from Mr. Hahn. Have a second? Mr. Cates, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I've got it removed, I didn't think to tell everybody else. Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Approve the agenda as amended, have a second? Second. Mr. Hahn, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Move first item on the agenda, I have a motion to hear Resolution 2152, considering of audit contract with Wickburg County for 2021. So moved. Have a motion? Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Mr. J.
I wanted to give the board just a status report on the activity center roof. I'll have a written report for you at your next meeting.
No, whoa.
I wanted you to talk about 21.
Oh!
We ain't got through that one yet.
21, our city recorder could talk about that as better like I. Is that what we're talking about?
We're talking about the audit firm contract.
If this would be the second year of a 3-year contract, it's, the amount is $22,000 with the, extra work rate, if needed.
We don't have a copy of the agenda.
It was sent, never mind. Go ahead, tell her.
All right.
It was sent in the last meeting. Our last regular meeting.
Okay. This resolution is already for a contract that's been approved.
Yes, this is the second year of a 3-year engagement.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Aye. Second.
Have a second, have a motion, Vice Mayor. Second?
Yep.
Mr. Hunt, Fisher?
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, move out of that one. Okay. Review and consideration of status report on activity center roof. Mr. J.
This is a positive report, I'm glad to say. Two engineers from Fisher and Arnold came down this week. We inspected the roof in some detail. I will be getting a written report and the preliminary specifications for how to move forward. They're recommending 2 contracts. One is that we would remove the 2 existing roofs on the building. There's 2 roofs on the building. There may be some areas where the decking has to be replaced, but they did not find any substantial deficiencies in the rafters or the decking. I have pictures, the roof was in worse shape than I realized. There are at least 2 places where you can stick your fist through the roof with holes. There's a number of places where there's long slits where the leaks are occurring. The second contract they're recommending is that we remove all the insulation that's above the ceiling in the building and replace it. They felt like it's gotten moisture in it, and we just need to redo that. But they indicated it was a very doable project and economically worth pursuing.
Is that blow or roll insulation?
It was roll, whatever you want to call it.
That's good.
Yeah. No, it's a real positive report. I'm sorry.
It's easier to take out.
Yeah.
When are we gonna have this, next meeting?
Yes. And just to elaborate for 2 seconds, they are providing me a proposal for the old bank building, and I'll have that on your next agenda for them to do an evaluation of it, like you talked about at your last meeting. That's coming.
All right, moving on. Acknowledge receipt of certified tax rate. Mr. J.
You have in your agenda packet, the Fayette County Assessor's Office came by City Hall about a week ago or less, and required that we acknowledge the certified tax rate based on the new assessments, and that tax rate is .4212.
Okay. Any questions?
Our total tax base is just under 300 million at $291,000. $291,000.
Okay. Comments or questions? All right, moving on. We have a motion here, ordinance 2110, consideration of adopting fiscal year 22 annual budget.
So moved.
Have a motion from the Vice Mayor, have a second?
Second.
Have a second from Mr. Hine, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. J.
This is first reading only to adopt the proposed budget, recognizing that you'll still have work sessions and any amendments can be made at second reading.
Okay. Have a motion to approve this ordinance?
Motion it.
Have a motion from Mr. Fisher, have a second?
Second.
Have a second from the Vice Mayor, all in favor?
Aye.
Have a motion here, ordinance 2111, consideration of establishing municipal property tax rate.
So moved.
Have a motion from the Vice Mayor, have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Hine, all in favor?
Aye.
Mr. J.
This proposed ordinance on first reading would adopt the certified tax rate as provided by the Assessor's Office as 42.19 cents per $100 of assessed valuation, and there would be a public hearing on this at your July meeting.
You say 42.1?
No, it's 42.19, .4219. And for the record, if there's any changes to that amount, up or down, there would have to be a public notice and a hearing on that change.
Are you expecting a change?
I expect that we will have a discussion on the change.
Okay.
But for lack of a better word, it's a two-step process.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2111.
And for the record, that .4219 is in from .52.2.
Second.
Have a second from Mr. Fisher, all in favor?
Aye.
Now, consideration of amending the 2021 annual budget, all funds.
So moved.
Have a motion from Mr. Duncan, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Vice Mayor Sutton, all in favor?
Aye.
Mr. J.
If we may, we want to substitute the ordinance that was on the podium when you arrived, 2112. It reflects some of the changes and discussions that have been made to the on first reading. And for example, it was on your podium, the $25,000 for so there's any substantive changes, but we picked up some things like that. This also would be a public hearing at your next meeting.
And to put that in layman's terms for, that hadn't been through this. So as long as it's an item within their budget and they have monies there, they can do that without an amendment. But when you have to add monies into a budget, you have to do an amendment.
And the other thing I'd point out, and we talked about at your budget meeting, in terms of our revenue and expenditures, we've had a very good year in 2021. We've had strong revenues even with the pandemic, and because of the pandemic, a lot of our expenditures did not happen. So in that sense, it's going to be a positive year.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 21-12.
Have a motion from the Vice Mayor, have a second.
Second.
Have a second from Mr. Fisher, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Cates.
Second.
Have a motion adjourned, have a second from Mr. Hine, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hope that didn't take too long.
Mr. Tom, thanks for coming down. I'll let you know if that gentleman shows up next Tuesday, and we'll.
Want me to email you the time?
Yes, sir, would you please? If you'd do that, I'd appreciate it, and I'll try to see if we can get us a nice lunch date next week and talk to people.